On this cloudy day, I decided to go for a walk. It's supposed to rain, I guess, a little bit later, so I guess I'm getting it in right in the nick of time. Also, I did not plan to do a video today, but we're gonna make it do what it do, right? So as I'm scrolling, looking for something to a podcast, a positive podcast to listen to on my walk here, um, I came across this picture, this photo, and it's getting hard to have sympathy for these people. I'm assuming that this is true. It's on World Star. I'm not going to go Google around and find out the truth of the matter is. But listen, this is why men's spaces, men's content, men's centered issues are here and need to be pressed and put forward and need to become the norm and normalized. Listen, when I came across this path two different ways. First way was when I was studying for my master's degree. I was studying forensic psychology, and I really wanted to understand, what was going on with black men, our prison rates, our inability to sometimes self-regulate, our emotional issues, why that was leading to incarceration, why that was leading to fights, shootings of each other, on and on and on and on. I'm quite sure you all understand what's going on in the community. So I was studying that, and I came across people like Dr. Amos Wilson. Even I came across even Dr. Umar Johnson, Dr. Tommy Curry, other people who were kind of speaking to men's issues and the things that we had going on, right? And there's others as well, right? You had to read all these different academic papers, yada yada yada. Interestingly, I didn't come across T. Hassan Johnson, but now that was the first way I came into this space, and the second way that I came into this space is because of my own decline or marriage dissolving, and I didn't understand what was going on in the current and present dating market. So again, I start Googling around, like, what's up with this? The times change. Is my game that weak? Is what's up with the ghosting? What's up with the dating apps? So I started looking around, and lo and behold, some of the same persons that I talked about before, you start coming across them again. And then again, I get introduced to other people, Dr. Ron Neal, Dr. T. Hassan Johnson, amongst the others who I listen to, right? And this whole idea about the Manosphere and what we're talking about. Reading books or reading works and reading articles, journals, blogs by Rollo Tomasi, get introduced to Kevin Samuels, get introduced to, the author's name is, is escaping. I'll put the picture up here. Read his book, all this type of stuff, right? Just understanding, right? And this stuff has been out here for years now. It's years. And I think that the problem is that people, we just don't, the message isn't spreading to quite the degree that it should. And there's this demonization, this labeling of this community by the extremes on one side. Andrew Tate being extreme, as one example, right? So, and there's many others, and I don't tend to watch a lot of different people because I think that some of the things that they're saying are extreme. I think it's extreme to say you shouldn't date anyone. I think it's extreme to put all women in a certain pot. It's extreme. However, on another channel that I made a video about why this space needs to be professionalized, because there's this labeling and this demonization of these different terms, incel, simp, things like that. And there's just a couple of authors have been trying to push back against that. By authors, I mean academics, right? A couple of brothers wrote a paper called "If There's So Much Incel Violence, why?" Why you would think it'd be more, right? Because they were trying to link incels to the mass shooters, which I think that anyone with a brain, anyone with a conscience is going to condemn all of that. And that's why I made a video the other day about, why men should improve, right? All this talk about what women are doing, women ain't this, women ain't that. The only thing you need to do is improve. The only thing you as a man need to do is improve. And if you're not improving, then you're going backwards. You're not standing still. You're actually moving backwards. So the most important thing that you need to do, the most important thing you need to get out of this space is to improve. So back to the picture here. It is alleged that this brother spent $885 on a date only to be told, I ain't feeling it, and then leave. A few years ago, I think it was like 2017 or so, there was an article in the New York Post where 30% of women admitted, and I always say that, I always stress that term, admitted, that word, admitted. They admit to going out on dates just for food. I've talked to ladies who said they've gone out with guys that they weren't really interested because they were bored, or because they had nothing better to do, or just to see what was going on. Listen, this message has to spread. The rights, the feelings, the emotions, the desires, the wants of men has to be taken seriously, and all that. It's great that ladies have leveled up, gotten jobs, educations, and become more free. The ability to go outside has been extended to them like never before in human history. Okay, great. That doesn't mean we diminish men. Doesn't mean you get to pay men back. Doesn't mean you get to use and abuse men. I don't know if I'll be able to find the clip, but before, in another previous video I did, I talked about how women have been using men, or excuse me, I played a clinical psychologist or a child development psychologist who talked about, I had a message on my screen and it got me all messed up. She talked about how the current women's rights movement, or feminism in particular, that term feminism, is not about equality, but it's not even about equity or equality, it's about domination. It's about taking over, and there's a punishment aspect to it. We're going to punish these men because of all the things that their ancestors allegedly did to us. Allegedly. So that's what we're dealing with. That's what you as a man are dealing with. You're dealing with a group of women who feel entitled. A group of women, not all women. I don't even know how large the proportion is. But there are women out there who are going to go on dates because they're bored. They don't really have any interest in you. They don't have any interest in what you like to do. Your thoughts and feelings are politically, thoughts and feelings about the economy. They don't care anything about that. They're in a place where they feel entitled to your time, energy, attention. I had to clear out some storage there. So they feel entitled to your time, energy, and attention, and they're going to use and abuse you. They're going to use and abuse you. They're going to go on a date. They're going to get the most that they can, as fast as they can. They're going to date multiple men and ask you to send more, send money, whatever's whatever. Take them on dates. They're dating multiple men. You got to figure out who you are in their roster, food guy, listening ear guy. You got to move accordingly, man. And this message that has to resonate and has to get out. It has to get out to spread that this is the way that many ladies are operating. How many ladies are operating like that? I don't know. But you got to be smart. And the way to be smart about that is to date, number one, within your means, your tax bracket, your socioeconomic condition, number one. And number two is vet that lady, get to know her. Don't just meet a lady on the street, just immediately take her out to a restaurant. She's got to earn that. I said that right. She's got to earn that. You have to earn her time, energy, and attention. You have to earn that through your finances, your ability to speak, your riz, whatever. Just like you got to earn yourself. As I'm saying this, there's a guy just rode by me in the bike. Back of his shirt says you got to prove yourself. You got to prove yourself. And the man And the women should have to prove themselves too. It's, her just having a nice body, pretty hair, pretty lips, pretty eyes, it's not enough. And until you, as a man, understand that, recognize that, and move in that way, that somebody has to earn your time and attention, we're gonna continue to see stuff like this. Now, in the comments of the post that I saw it on, there was no sympathy from men, but some men are just not up on game, just like I wasn't. There was a time when I got divorced, right? And you coming out here, you're not paying attention to the space. You don't know what's going on. So, and as a side note, I always think it's weird when married people are paying attention to the space. I mean, unless you're a researcher or journalist or something, why are you just watching videos about dating when you're married? That's weird to me. But anyway, you come out in this space, you haven't been paying attention, and you come out here and you're getting ghosted. You're on dating apps, it's not working. You have great conversation with someone. I remember one time I had a conversation with this lady I met on dating app. We had a few chat conversations, and then we talked, and we called each other. I called her, I don't know, she called me, whatever. We planned to date, planned to go out that day, later on that day, and we're talking to like literally 2, 3 in the morning. I want to say it was like 3 in the morning. I go to sleep, wake up, 7:30, text her. Hey, listen, I really had a great time talking to you last night. Let's definitely hook up later. And I don't mean hook up. I mean just go out and grab some coffee. Or whatever I said. Lunch, I don't know what it was. To this date, and that was years ago, haven't heard from her back. Right? So that's what caused me to start Googling around. Like, what the heck? What's up with this? Why would you do that? You get all kind of different answers, right? People, I think I put it in a Reddit post too. Like, why do people do that? What's up with that? Like, they do it to stroke their ego. They want to know if they're still feeling good about themselves. They might be married, but they're just lonely. They just want somebody to talk to, and they just want to feel good and know that they still got it. All kind of different answers out there, right? So listen, you gotta put yourself in a position where you are taking care of your mental health, your sanity, because as I mentioned in other videos, it's not you, right? This is I want to say it's a cultural thing. I don't mean that as American culture or whatever. I mean it as far as it's a phenomenon that's going on out here that is just weird and unsettling. And no, I can't figure it out, and I'm not going to sit here and try to figure it out. What I'm going to try to do is try to help you as a man to become the best version of yourself and to understand that it's not you. Now, it may be you, right? If your game is not up to par and you're trying to date out of your league or whatever, then you got to check that about yourself and, check your conversational skills, your emotional intelligence, check your hygiene, and do all these other things and make sure that you're the best version of yourself. Undoubtedly, I'm saying that. But this other stuff is going on out here, and these ladies and they'll sit on a date with you after you spend the money. I mean, if you're not feeling that vibe, you really ought to be offering to pay. If you say, I don't want to see you again. I don't got to put it as bluntly as that, but listen, things aren't working out. I'm not really feeling the vibe or whatever. But after a man drops $800, or after someone drops whatever they drop, $100, right? That's why guys are advocating for pizza dates, coffee, ice cream, something sweet and simple, a walk in the park. So this is why we're saying it. And this is obviously an extreme case. I get that. But there's a lot of stories like this. And like I said, I've talked to ladies, and we're all, you can go to Reddit forums and all that and read where this is happening to an alarming level. Now, I suppose we don't know if it's, it'll be impossible to know if it's an increase, or we're just talking about it more because of social media, right? That's something for others to figure out. But in the meantime, what you should do, it's starting to pick up rain, I'm going to like turn around soon. In the meantime, what you must do, is protect yourself at all times. Become the best version of yourself. Understand that this is a phenomenon, and spread the word. You have to spread the word, right? And this demonization, as I started to say before, is hurting all of us. And, the negative Nellies out there that they try to put on CNN and try to put on other avenues, venues, they are trying to demonize this space to discourage men from signing up, joining up, looking into this, because I don't know. I really can't put my finger on it, right? The rise of lonely men, if the men just bossed up and did better, maybe that's the narrative they would say, and we wouldn't be having these issues. You turn around, it's raining. Can never believe the news here. It says it wasn't supposed to start raining until 3 o'clock. It's nowhere near 3 o'clock, 3 p.m. So anyway, so I just wanted to say that. So listen, you can't follow this type of stuff, this negative Nelly type of stuff. You gotta do something different, and we got to do something different. We got to paint a better, more positive narrative, right? And so one of the things I do think we should do is try to clean house, try to professionalize this space, and try to make it more palatable to people who would never consider it because of their condition, because of their status in life, because of their state in life. There's some great things that can happen in this space, and this great men's advocacy movements that are going on. We just got to make sure that we see them. We just got to make sure that we're part of them, that we're propelling them. And we got to do it without the angry tone. We got to do it without the negative notions and all that. So I just want to say that, drop this right quick. Let me know your thoughts and your opinions, and how do you think that we should stop this type of thing from happening again, assuming that it's real. And it's definitely real in some point, because I know articles have been written about it, and I know personally people have done it, and the people are making posts and videos about it from all different regions across the United States and the Western world. And we know that this is not just in our heads. So let me know your thoughts, your opinions. Hit me in the comments section. Become a member of the channel. Get members only content. Much love and peace, everyone.